Good morning. Happy Monday morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, we're back this morning to speak about embodiment today in Monday morning chats. If you're with us live, say hi, tell us where you're tuning in from. If you're catching the replay, hashtag replay. Yes, so today is all about the transference from knowledge to embodiment, which means when you start becoming and being and operating from that place. So Nicolette, what comes up for you?
Hey, this is your topic. This is your topic. You're supposed to lead this one. So I'm going to throw it back at you.
All right. So for me, actually where the inspiration for this topic came from was I've been away for a number of days, which has been really beautiful, and I was celebrating a dear friends of ours wedding, and what those circumstances really highlight, for me at least, is when you've stepped away from your norm and your routine, and then when you come back home, getting back into the groove of the routine again, and how that feels, and it just provides that real comparison point of what are the standards of my life, in the sense, and it can be really basic things like, when do I eat breakfast? What kind of foods am I used to eating? What, those general things that when we're away and we're seeing to other experiences can come out of balance. So for me, it was really about the recognition of, okay, now that I'm back, I'm actually really looking forward to getting back into routine. And for me, that was the that recognition, not in a rigid way, just when you have become acclimatized to a set point, that you notice what supports you and keeps a certain level of buoyancy in your life, and then what other circumstances means for you as well. So I'll probably start there. What comes up?
Okay, so when I think about embodiment, I think of embodying the highest version of living that we want to achieve, right? Because anyone who's watching or listening to this podcast, if you're into personal development, that's your jam as well. And the cycle of that for me is when we reach a level of discomfort that forces us to shift, and when we tune into our inner voice of what the next steps are to take to create the change that we want, to create the life that we want, we do that, and then we have this period of integration where that then becomes embodied and it becomes a reality. But for that to happen, the steps that we lay out for ourselves need to be repeated. And like you were saying about your daily routine being out of whack, being away, everything that we want to embody needs to be repeated. And then it's like driving a car. The first time that you drive a car, everyone's heard this analogy before. It feels really clumsy, and you're thinking about everything that's happening, and the gear changes and what's happening with the steering wheel. And then these days, when you're driving, you don't even think. You're not even thinking about it. It's not a conscious thought, so it moves to a subconscious embodiment of that action or behavior or part of your life. So anything that you want to become a part of your life in that way needs to be repeated, whether you're wanting to improve the way that you eat. The easiest way to do that is to eat the same things every day, which sounds pretty boring, but if you get the hang of that, then you can like deviate from it and go, oh, okay, well now I can introduce ice cream back in, because I'm not eating that tub of ice cream every night anymore. And it's the same in our energetic expansion. So all of the energy work that I have done and we have done together has all been a practice of getting a handle on what's happening in our own energy field, feeling other people's energy. That is all a practice, and then it becomes an embodiment. Like we just know. I just know when I walk into a room the types of energies that I'm running into, because I'm very attuned to people's energy now, and I'm very in tune with my own energy now from that practice, and that is an embodied part of me. I'm a very energetically connected person because of that.
Yes, absolutely. And you've mentioned some really key points there from my experience with embodiment work. And one of them was, you mentioned the subconscious, where things become so ingrained that they become subconscious, your subconscious operation. And then 2, your level of attunement. And for me, they go hand in hand. And really where my mind went with this topic was taking account of what are the current set points of my life. And that will be operating in your subconscious. So if you spin a spoke around to every area of your life, and that might be health and fitness, that might be financial, that might be personal development, that might be relationships, leisure, etc. Where is your current set point? And you will be able to tell that simply by, what does my life currently look like? Because underneath those set points will be your subconscious operation and the beliefs holding you to that set point. And for the personal development junkies, typically, us self-proclaimed, it's about going in the continual pursuit of raising those set points around it so they can be the fullest expression of you living manifest in the world. And that requires asking some really clear questions. What are the quality of my relationships like? My intimate relationship, my friendship relationships, my colleagues. And when you actually take account of that, of what does that tonally look like and feel like, they will be the clues as to what's operating underneath. And what I have subconsciously accepted as this is the set point of my life. And then there will become times where those set points become more painful, and you'll feel like a spurt of action, and that might come out in anger or frustration or fear. And both of those things are designed to move you away from the set point, from the pain point. So when we start doing things consciously, as going, well, let's actually do a bit of a stock take here. What is the quality of my life, and what are the underlying beliefs present? Where do I feel compelled to raise that set point? And then, like you said, it's the stepwise fashion that you do that, and the attunement of what progress actually looks like. Because whatever your current set point is will have the most gravity, which means you need enough momentum to overcome the gravity of what has previously been created.
Yeah, absolutely. And in my own life at present, with my health and fitness journey, my goal has been to work out 5 days a week. And I've been nailing working out 3 days a week, because this morning, Monday mornings, I have PT session. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, I tend to be able to get myself to the gym from the momentum of that. But I've also got a pole dancing class on a Tuesday afternoon, which I really enjoy. It's very difficult. But so those 3 days are great. Thursday, Friday, I haven't quite got there yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work out 5 days this week. No, not so much. But if I hadn't have aimed for 5 days, I wouldn't have the
Mm.
solid 3 that I'm now achieving. And that's what I'm focusing on. So I think the important thing also with embodiment is to acknowledge what you are achieving now and really pat yourself on the back for it, because you know, for me personally, I'm drinking a lot less alcohol. I'm eating a lot more vegetables and drinking a lot more water. I'm working out three solid days a week. Go me! Like that's way better than where I was a couple of months ago. And that acknowledgement of self is key to embodying this level of being, and feeling like that's a really solid part of who I am, and then moving on to improvement, like 4 days a week at the gym.
Exactly. Yeah, beautiful. And so I guess what also occurred to me in this topic is because it's very, when we talk about subconscious, both you and I have delved a lot into subconscious, what that looks like, how we know what's lingering, because there are certain feelings there that will become the access points to what is my deeper beliefs. And so I thought it would also be beneficial to give people some frameworks and some reference points as to, well, what does that even mean, and how do I know what's operating beneath the surface, other than to look about and go, well, my standard of life mightn't be ideal, but it's acceptable, hence why it's your standard of life. Or if you're in a standard of life and it's not acceptable, that's a really key point to go that there's something beneath the surface that is halting progress. And when people have done a lot of work with me, I've found 6 common threads that will be anchoring them to their current set point. And so if it's okay, I thought it might be helpful to share those 6, and okay, all right, and they can start to be some of the clues of going, what's operating beneath the surface that's keeping me stuck.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So the first one, so I've labeled it as the 6 Ds. So they're all D words. And so the first one is disdain, and that's where I have a perceptual distortion, essentially, where my lens is shaped by negative judgments of self. So I tend to beat myself up a lot, and there's a sense of lack of worth. I tend to be very judgmental of others and either go, well, they're not lifting their weight, or whatever it is, that when you come into contact with a pain point, there's a blame and judgment on others. And then that spreads out to a negative judgment of the world. And those 3 things tend to circulate. I judge myself negatively, I then judge others negatively, I judge the world negatively, and then I feel inadequate within the world. And so it's that is the determining factor of the current set point. So that's the first deadly anchor, so to speak, that my life is shaped by disdain. Yeah.
Can I just add in there that it's important to note that these traits that you may hold are not who you are. They are behaviors that you exhibit, and they may have been modeled from someone or from your environment now. Simon Sinek said this morning on a TikTok that I saw that when you put a good person in a bad environment, they will do bad things. So these traits may be coming out because of who you're surrounding yourself with. So I just wanted to point that out as Asha goes through these 6, and you go, oh yeah, that's me. It's not like, oh, this is who you are. This is us laying out a framework to go, okay, this is where I lie here, this is where I lie here, this is where, and where do I want to be? Where do I want to go from here?
Yes, thank you for that. Exactly. And these perceptual distortions, if I use more clinical speak, but really it just means lenses that are a part of our conditioning, have been created in an attempt to keep us safe. Because if we look at it, you go, what's the evolutionary purpose of having a lens where I'm negatively judging myself? Well, that comes back to, if I am making a negative judgment on myself, there is an attempt to take ownership of what's going on. So the harsher I am at a subconscious level, the more fire I have to move forward to correct it. But because it's operating beneath the surface, we're not catching on ourselves on when we're beating ourselves up. And then also, we've mentioned before, that's when you start to become like eel, that the habit is so ingrained to whack ourselves about that we're now essentially sabotaging ourselves, because every time we go to make forward progress, the underlying belief system is that I'm somehow not good enough or worthy for the progress. So it is a big one, and this is what we start tapping into in our releasing work and our energy work and our healing work, when we actually address these things in a very kind and compassionate way that also normalizes them, because everyone has these distortions, because that is the way our nervous system tries to keep us safe. And it's also the way that we've been conditioned in going, well, if you're not performing at X amount of level, what are you not doing? So it's just naturally the way the subconscious mind makes sense of it. So we just want to be very kind and compassionate with ourselves as we locate these things, because like Nicolette said, it's the recognition of what's my set point, what's underneath the set point, what do I then need to release and let go of in order to have a buoyancy that is now a new set point, because I'm no longer anchored by that particular perceptual lens. So yes, first one is disdain. So my lenses are shaped by some kind of negative judgment. The next one is despair, where they're shaped by a sense of helplessness and hopelessness. This idea that I have done everything, I've tried everything, I'm not getting any new results. So now I'm essentially resigned to whatever the set point is. Next one is destitution mindset. The idea that there's not enough resources, or that again, I'm not worthy of the resources that are there. Next one is where we get to deliberate self-sabotage. So because these things are here, when you are making progress, even though you might know, I've had 7 days alcohol free and I'm owed a cheat day, which is fine. We're all about moderation and all of that. But it's then when you start acting in a way in going, well, this new that I'm creating for myself isn't actually who I am. It's not in line with the previous definitions.
Imposter syndrome sets in.
Yes.
I'm not that person. I'm not.
Yes.
And comparing yourself to other people can really trigger this. So
Yes.
if you're walking around at the gym looking at the 19-year-old beautiful gym bunnies that obviously only drink green juice for breakfast and never drink alcohol, blah 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 blah, then you're going to, oh, well, I'm not that person, just crack a bottle.
Exactly. And then the final one is death of the true self. And so that's when the deeper parts of you, the more knowing parts of you, starts to reach your conscious awareness and say, head this way. And because of those other distortions, we shut it down and we don't listen. So those anchors are essentially the themes that will be holding you to whatever your current set point is around those various areas of life. So taking stock of going, well, what am I currently doing that's life-giving? What am I currently not doing that's life-giving? Because people often only take account of what they're doing, not what they're not doing. What am I currently not doing that's life-taking? And what am I currently doing that's life-taking? So you kind of want to take stock across those 4 areas and go, okay, like you said, where's the gap here? And it's when things become very clear and in conscious awareness that now I can see clearly where I'm actually holding myself back. Because everyone knows or has good knowledge about what health and fitness looks like. But there's a very big gap between knowledge and the embodiment. So then what that requires is a clear, conscious awareness of how am I not in alignment with what I know? And that's when we have something called cognitive dissonance, which is where you know it's not in alignment. So now you go through the process of justifying not being in alignment to continue the status quo, because we haven't addressed what's beneath the status quo, which is the beliefs that says this set point that I currently operate, that's my life as a product of I am.
And it really is just our, not just, it really is our belief systems that shape who we are and where we go, and how we release those negative anchors. And I also came to mind when you were speaking that that's a lot to take in, what you were just saying about all of those anchors, but there will be something that flags to you if you're listening to this about your own life, about an anchor that keeps pulling you back to the same spot. And that's the one that you're to work on this week or this month. And don't beat yourself up about the fact that anchor keeps reoccurring, because it's very ingrained. These behaviors and these set points are very, very ingrained, and it's okay. And every time it comes back into your mind that you're not good enough, or you're not that person, or that self-talk comes back, you just give yourself compassion and go, it's okay. I'm okay. I can hold myself in this feeling right now, and then I can step out of it, and I can step in the direction that I want to lead myself in. And tomorrow I'll probably have the same thought process, and that's fine, but I'm going to honor myself, give myself compassion, and step out of it again. And the more you step out of that, the more where you step to becomes the new embodiment of who you are.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And thank you for that. That's absolutely right. In the compassion is the carrot of leading ourselves forward. And that's because the subconscious mind actually needs a focus point. And so we need to be able to give it our north point if the anchors are the south point. So essentially, whatever it is that has been keeping us caught, we want to start embedding the opposite story, that first of all of these things are entirely normal, and there's not a human alive that doesn't have a version of these. So we hold ourselves super kindly. And when you hold yourself super kindly in light of that particular anchor, what you're doing is saying, this is not too big for me. And that's actually how you transcend. Because whenever something's in darkness, i.e. the subconscious, there's a tendency to move away from it and to empower it in the darkness. But whenever you've turned towards and go, this is not too big for me, I'm here, I'm capable, I'm competent, I can be with, it starts to melt. And then in that melting and being with, you will find exactly what you need within to take the next step forward and to take the next step forward. And because you've actually addressed it in a kind, compassionate way, and you've retaught yourself what is underneath the surface, that I'm completely okay with you, you're not too big for me. And even when your mind starts to shout at you and go, no, it's too big, it's too big, there are all your cues to do exactly this, to be with, to sit with, be still, allow to come to the surface, whatever it is, whether it be tears or anger or whatever it is, they will naturally dissipate. And then we've got space within us to step forward and to step forward. And it's actually about recognizing that this is a process that takes it from knowing to embodiment. And this is the difference of either doing the work or going, yeah, I know that, but never actually being with enough to transform your life, your set points, because we haven't transformed the inner workings that determine those things.
Absolutely. What a fabulous topic.
Yeah, so we went a little bit deeper today than we usually do. So yes, everything here obviously run by your own, your own knowledge base, what's right for you. This is shared as general information. I've actually got a tip sheet on my website for more information about this, so you can easily DM me about that, or check that out for further information. And also, I would just really recommend in this space of actually doing the embodiment work, having a coach, having a mentor, having some kind of professional to lead you through, having a support group or tribe, going on this journey with trusted people is really beneficial, because in those times where we feel wobbly, having people to hold space for you and also anchor for you will rapidly increase the progress, because you will feel steadiness within the growth, and growth by definition requires some change. So we want our circumstances and the environment around us to support the growth, and also those growth pains, so to speak.
Have the people around you that champion you to do so. Asha and I have just released tickets for a half-day workshop on the 30th of April. And I think that we may have sold 2 tickets already, and there's 10 tickets in total. We're keeping it a small group so that we can keep it very focused, and everyone can have a massive shift on the day, and then a new place to anchor themselves to. So if that workshop appeals to you, throw in the comments that you'd like more information, or send us a message and we can send you the link to book in, and we'd love to see you there.
Yes, and we'll chat next week. So thank you very much for joining us. And DM if anything is of interest to you, or we can help and support you in any other way as well.
Have a fabulous week, everybody. Bye.